Page 22, Swans on the Lake. I remember this piece. You see, when I was real little, long time ago, the teacher I had used the John Thompson series. They used these are the adult books. I went through the children's books. I cover those in different videos. But this piece is in one of those books, and this was one of my favorite. I just loved playing this piece. It was so nice. It's a piece where if people want to hear you play this. This is a nice one. 3/4 time. There's no sharps or flats in the key signature, so we're fine. Just using the white notes, white keys. I call a note and a key the same thing on piano. It's a little confusing because those are notes on the music, but these are keys or notes on the piano. I'm sure you'll figure out what I'm trying to say eventually. In the right hand, you have a bunch of quarter notes. So you're starting here in this position, and this just quarter notes. Connect them all. Dotted half note gets 3 counts. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So, that's about as tough as it gets for the right hand. And the left hand, starting down here on C, you're in this position. Dotted half notes. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Connect them all. 3, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay? And that's really what the piece, basically what it is. Well, if you look at the bottom of page 23, they're adding some expression marks in. And these are things you'll need to memorize, but you'll use these a lot. And I will talk about them a lot. So eventually they'll soak in. You see, music is feeling. Music is passion. Music is, this part we've been doing is all mechanical. I mean, a computer could do it. Just play the notes in the right time, and that's it. Anybody, that's all mechanical. That's not music. Music is the emotion behind it. That happens after you get past the mechanical stuff. So first you learn the notes, the fingering, the rhythm, all that. And then you start getting to know the music. See, a lot of people, especially when they don't have a teacher, even many teachers make that mistake. Don't get me started on them. Is once you can play it accurately with all the notes and fingerings, you're ready to go on. Oh, close enough, all right, I'm ready to do for the next thing. And the teachers say, well, yeah, you got that, let's go on. Once you get all the notes and the fingering and all that done, you're at the threshold of now you can start turning it into music. Now you can actually start learning the piece, what I call learning the piece. And so just because you can play the right notes and rhythms, you couldn't do it before. Well, you could do it, but I don't get into it. But here, with the expression marks, now they're giving you some guides on how to interpret or how to feel the piece, how to feel the music. You see at the beginning here, between the staves, there's an MF and a legato. Two different things. Take them one at a time. The MF. If you look over here, you see it's a mezzo forte. It's an Italian word, and it means moderately loud. F is forte or loud. M is moderately or medium or sort of loud. We have different gradations of these, different levels of loudness and softness, and it's a personal thing, and it depends on your situation. The room you're in, the piano, how many people are around, are you outdoors, are you in a small room like this? So the loudnesses are not always going to be the same. Well, this is sort of loud. It's not loud. Loud would be, this is just sort of loud. It's not soft. We have sort of soft, which is just a little softer than that. I kind of wish when they listed these at the bottom of 23, page 23, they would have listed the loudnesses in the order that they appear. Because of the ones they list, the forte is the loud one. And under that would be moderately loud, MF, that's sort of loud. And then under that would be MP, that's sort of soft. P is soft. sort of soft, and then P, piano, is soft, and then PP, pianissimo, is very soft. There's also an FF, they didn't list that. That's very loud. That's louder than loud. And you can have FFF and PPP and FFFF and PPPP and for piano, you normally don't see more than 3 Fs or 3 Ps. That's about as far as we go. For other instruments, the orchestra music, you'll see 4 occasionally. Basically, you're blowing on the keys. When you get for 4 Ps, you just blow on the keys and hope they sound. That's silly. But there's different levels, and it's not a set value. You have to decide. So medium loud, and get a load of this. You're gonna love this. The dynamic giving, that is the loud or soft. They're called dynamics. That applies to the melody, and here the melody's in the right hand. This is the melody. This is medium loud. Not the left hand. This is. They don't tell you anything for the left hand. Some method books try and tell you, and I find that confusing. I prefer this method. Most music, you'll get one dynamic mark in the middle. You have to know how to apply it. Well, I'm going to teach you how to apply it. Goes to the melody. Everything else has to be softer than the melody, and it's up to you on how soft. It depends on where on the keyboard you're at, or what's being done, or the melody has to be heard. We're here for the melody. The melody controls. The melody rules. Melody is what it's all about. Take away the melody and we have nothing left, basically. We're not interested. We want the melody. So keep everything else soft. This is going to be soft. Can you play one hand louder than the other? We're back to this independence of the hands again. And this is where practicing the scales come in. Hopefully you're doing my C major scale, 1 octave up and down. Well, when you're practicing that, try playing the right hand loud and the left hand soft, and then reverse it and do the left hand loud and the right hand soft. As you're practicing this every day, the first time when you sit down and practice, if you can, the first thing you should do, in my opinion, is the scale that you're working on. C major scales has been your assignment for me on this so far. And that's every day. And you can do it more than once a day, but make sure it's every day. And you can vary the practice. Sometimes you're just practicing claps the wrist like I do, and the accents like I do in the video. Sometimes you're playing one hand loud and one hand soft, and eventually we'll get into articulation and different ways of playing the notes, and you can practice those with a scale. There are a lot of drill books and practice books and things that you can get. I don't use them, and I never used them. I use scales for it all. You got to know the scales anyway, and you can use scales and practice all that stuff. So here, the right hand, you have to decide how loud that is, and then make the left hand soft. So, when you get down to the third line, you see the P, that's piano. That means soft. That's the melody. Now all of a sudden you're soft. Don't know how soft. Not very soft, just soft. The left hand has to be very soft. Now the left hand has to get softer. Then you get to top of page 23. Now it's loud. That's the melody. You can play the left hand a little louder, but keep it softer than the melody. And this is louder than it was at the beginning. This is loud. The second line, you are very soft, and it's all of a sudden, and it's not easy to go from one extreme to the other, but we need to do it. So all of a sudden you play, and then you make real soft, and the left hand you can hardly hear it then. Now we come up a little bit to medium soft, sort of soft. The left hand stays very soft. And then at the bottom you got very soft in the right hand. And you're finishing it that way. And that takes practice to get that. So you work on that until you're sort of comfortable with it. Takes a while. Don't be in a hurry. This is something you can continue to work on even as you advance through the book. You can come back and keep working on this piece. Then at the end there's a RIT. You see that in the next to last measure, RIT. It's short for retardando, another Italian word. It means gradually slow down. I think of it as a train coming in to the station, except you don't stop. You just slow down. So here, 1, 2, 3, and you could keep slowing down even as you're counting. So that last note will sound a lot like it lasts a lot longer than 3 counts. It's because you're counting slower and slower and slower. I want to challenge you just a little bit. As you play the right hand in this, can you figure out where the musical sentences are? There's no phrasing marked in here. They could have, but they didn't. Well, can you figure out what they are? Because even though there's no phrasing marked, you can still play it as it's phrased, as though it were phrased. So listen to this. You hear a sentence there, so at the end of the second line, I lift up before going on, because it's a new phrase. Then that's starting with the third line down. And again, that would be one phrase. So you lift up at the end of the page there before going to the top of the page 23. It's a new sentence. And here, you could call this one phrase because this is an echo. And generally an echo is a different phrase. So it would be at the end of the first line you lift up to go on, and then lift up to go on, and then the rest of it's one phrase. It's my opinion. Different people will have different ideas of what a phrase is. Since there's no words in the music, because if there were words, we could just follow the sentences in the words. That would kind of help out. But again, feel free as you get to know the piece to put in the phrasing. If you can feel phrasing, lift up. Not the left hand, just the right hand. Play the left hand legato all the way through. Now I can talk more about this interpretation, and I will in future videos. I've thrown a lot at you here, so let's just work on this much. So get to know the piece first, then add in these dynamics, and then the retardando at the end, and you're a little bit better. As I talk more about interpretation as we go through the other videos, you can come back and apply that stuff to this too. What I'd like to do is, assuming you've learned this now, I'm going to play with you and have you play it with me. Make sure we have the right notes and the rhythms. Now in the play with me's, I don't interpret. I don't do the dynamics. I don't slow down. The metronome won't slow down. That play with me is a mechanical exercise. We're just checking notes and rhythms because that's the first thing's got to be right before you can do anything else. I leave it up to you to do the other stuff. I can try and explain it to you, but without you being right in front of me so I can actually hear and see what you're doing, that's kind of hard to know if you're really getting it or not. So I just explain it and then hopefully you've got it. That's one of the reasons you really need a live teacher. But if you can't have one or don't have one, whatever, you're stuck with me, okay. I'm going to give us 3 counts. Let's play this slowly together. 1, ready, go. 3.